This is the Tuesday, August 11,
How about Thursday?
2022, regular meeting of the Freddie Park Public Utility District. It is 6:02. And call to order. Let's do the pledge of the flag. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Roll call. Director is Director Garcia.
Here.
Director Nyman is absent. Director Schoenberg. Here. Director Kelling.
Here.
So we are four with one absent, Director Nyman. Discussion vote on adjusting the agendas. Anybody?
I'll move that we table 16, which is the handbook.
Table 16, okay, you want to make that motion?
Yes. I will move that we table 16 until the next regular meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay. A motion has been made by Kelling and seconded by Garcia. Roll call of directors. Director Garcia.
Aye.
Director Nyman is absent. Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Kelling.
Aye.
So 4,
0.
0, 1 absent. Okay. Public comments. Items not listed on the agenda limited to 5 minutes. Any member of the public taking part of this meeting? Okay, moving on. Report of officers, President. Last month, I said I would contact JPIA to see about doing something about our overpayment of $10,000. And they understand it, but the man I talked to, David, was going to have to talk to his superior because the year where the payroll was reported inaccurately was so long ago. He was going to have to talk to his superior to see what the next step would be. Now, I don't mind calling again. I mean, I don't think an ad hoc is necessary. And I don't mind making a phone call if, do you mind, Terry?
I don't mind.
So, I'll continue. I don't think they're gonna give us a refund, but I'm suggesting that they add it to the pool of money. So instead of 10,000, we have 20,000. So they don't come next year and say, oh, you're at the bottom. Charge another 10,000. So, maybe that'll work out. Vice President?
So at the last meeting, the treasurer and I stayed after and looked to see, I know we had talked about that there was an issue with whether we needed to fix the automatic payments, but they're actually good until October. So Barbara just Director Nyman needs to look at that in September. But otherwise, we checked all automatic payments.
Secretary, is that proper?
No, secretary
Oh,
is Jerry.
Oh, Jerry, I'm sorry. Do you have anything to report?
Not at this time?
Okay, treasurer?
Treasurer is
That is Brahma?
is Brahma.
Okay, well, so he is not here. JPIA representative?
I have nothing.
Good deal. Moving on. Board member initiatives?
I'd like to put on the thing that we talk about how we can reduce the electric bill. Even if it's within the office.
Well, the office bill's not very,
It was over $400.
sure for her, but I know our bill went up $1,000
Yeah.
again.
But if
But we
could-
do have to do it. We could discuss it as an agenda item. Is that what you're
Yes.
suggesting? Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Managers report.
All right, we, Stacy Mont had 325 work orders. Have a lot. The ones of note are had a catastrophic day. July 21st, had another leak on Summit. Summit went down and washed out a guy's hillside in the back of his retaining wall and down Pico and washed mud up against a few houses, and then which we're still cleaning up. And then the house directly behind Elm Tank, they had several inches of mud in their driveway. Luckily, no mud went into anybody's houses, so we haven't got any claims as of yet. But that's multiple times that it's leaked right there at Summit, so we're gonna have to do something sooner rather than later on
What do you
Summit.
recommend, Tony?
Well, I was trying to get some early funding for the pipeline replacement that we got. Trying to get Lawrence to give us some extra money for, I mean, not extra money, but right now we're in the pre-planning with the potholing and stuff. I was hoping that we could move the funding of replacing Summit earlier, but it's not looking like we're gonna be able to do that anytime soon. So we'll have to evaluate that when we do the potholing. I'm sure Dee's gonna make a recommendation as to what it looks like in several potholes around that area. But to further complicate matters, at the same time, we had 5 major leaks all that same day. It started at 4 a.m, went till evening time, all over the east end of town, different lines. We had to call in Pat Banfield. It's a general contractor. I don't know if anybody knows him, but he's done a lot of work in the water districts up here, worked for Palmdale Water. He builds houses for a living, but he recently told me he was thinking about doing more water work stuff. So when it hit the fan and I just didn't have the crew to put out all the fires, I called him in and he did an excellent work, excellent job for us. He brought in his backhoe, had one of his guys, and then I split my crew up and they were doing leaks while they were doing leaks. Worked out all right. Furthermore, it's this month, but last week, I sent Jose up to grade Roosevelt, where it turns into Truman, where it always washes out real bad. And he hit a gas line that was, if it was 2 inches, I'd be shocked below the surface. It was a 2-inch going to a 1-inch, and caught it with the back blade of the loader and ripped it wide open. So we were up there all day long, well into the night. The gas company sent 11 employees up. The fire department was there, the sheriff was there. They'd call in an outside contractor to get the leak to stop. So eventually we're gonna get billed for that. They're gonna charge us at the very least for all the gas that was released over 9 hours or 10 hours of running. It's gonna start in the future, it's gonna limit our ability to fix roads as a courtesy to the town. Because when you call in, we've never called into USA the entire time I've been here for grading the roads, because we're only doing surface grading. The gas company won't tell you the depth to the pipe. They only tell you that there's gas lines there. So you know they're there. But if they won't tell you the depth, you can't effectively grade without stopping and starting again every time you hit where the yellow line is. So now that that's become an issue, I was told that now it's a more of a political issue than anything else, where now if you get more than one without a USA, then they're going to start hammering down on people. So now anytime we want to fix a road, we got to call in the USA, take up a day's worth of the locator's time to come up and mark everything. So it's just further complicating our life. They said we might not see a bill for this for 18 months.
Oh,
That's how long the process could take. It could show up in a week, or it could show up a year and a half from now. For that gas leak, it goes through this big old long drawn out process. But the long and short of it is, it was bound to happen sooner or later. So no good deed goes unpunished.
Director Schomburg?
Legally, are they allowed to have their gas line that close to the surface?
It's exactly the same thing as legally are we allowed to. It was put in where they welded on a stop. What they did was they welded right onto the live gas line, which shocked me. It's like a pipe, and they insert a balloon in there, and it stops the gas while they fix it somewhere else. Well, that was every bit of 3 feet, maybe 4 feet down the same line. But right where it turned the corner, where all the steepness goes, all the erosion is just like our pipes. This whole town has eroded over the years to the point where everybody's lines are showing. And there's no way financially and practically to replace all that soil. So all we can do is when we do mainline replacement, then we drop our lines, and the gas company will have to do the same thing. But it costs, as you know, it costs a lot of money. If you built up where it was back when the pipe was put in, half the houses that were put in after that, their driveways are level with, almost level with the road.
I get that. I think the reason I'm asking is, okay, if our pipe is showing because the road's eroded, we're not responsible for the road eroding. We don't own the roads.
No,
But we are responsible, our insurance would pay for that. If something happened where somebody hit a gas line in their, I mean, a water line with their car and it destroyed their car or something because it was like, sticking up, we had a valve sticking out of something, whatever.
well, our insurance may pay for that, but that's really not even the
Well, what I'm
issue. The issue is whether they're in,
The issue
the
is
fact
that
is,
we
the
didn't call the
the USAs have to be called in regardless. And if you call them in, it is this long, major process that tells us literally nothing what we need to know when we grade the road, because all we need to know is the depth. They're
Right,
not
but
legally
I'm-
allowed to tell you the depth. So if you hit their line and you don't have a USA call, or even if you do hit their line and you have a USA call, like when Billy did right down the street here, had a USA, hit the line anyway, they charged they charged us $500.
How much does USA call cost?
Oh, they bill us, but it's negligible. But my point was, when you call in the USA, right now, we have so many leaks, we constantly have the locators running. Constantly. They come up in the middle of the night, they come from Kuyama. So anyway, every time, for convenience sake of creating somebody's road, because we want to help the community, every time we want to fix the road, which sometimes we fix 3 a week, that means a locator has to come up and he has to spend several hours on each road to mark it out. Then when we get there, we're gonna see yellow lines all over the place. But then the only way you can grade and not hit their line for sure is if you stop at every yellow line, dig down with a shovel and make sure it's below that depth. It's just not practical. So we'll just have to cut way back on the convenience of grading roads for people, which is really a bummer, but we can't afford to take another hit. And now anytime we do it, the crew's already instructed to call in the USA. But we won't be able to do the spur of the moment. Most of the time it's, we wind up having a slow day, go kill time, go grade that road, go grade Walnut, go grade Elm, go grade whatever. Now we're not gonna be able to do that. It's gonna have to be planned out a week in advance. And it's gonna take the whole crew to determine that it's safe to grade that road.
It's just hard to believe that the gas company doesn't have to take any responsibility for erosion that happens.
That's the law of the USA Dig Alert. It's plain as day. If a contractor is out and they hit our pipe, they have to pay for it because they didn't call in a USA.
Right, but that's because they didn't call on the USA,
That's
so
what
I
it's-
think we need to be
I'm saying,
calling in the USA, so you're saying we're completely responsible for this.
I just said-
I get what you're
no, I'm
saying.
saying for the last 13 years, we've never called in a USA just to grade because it's surface grading. And we've never had that issue before.
Well, it's only gonna get worse. Tonight.
Now it's only getting worse. If you look at every single road, there's somebody's, ours, AT&T, there's somebody's utility showing through because the gas and water were put in roughly around the same time. So every issue we're dealing with, now the gas company's dealing with it.
Culvert roads.
The fact that it was so shallow, the bosses were really cool. The lost guy from the gas company that called me was super cool, super understanding. Explained to me, yeah, it wasn't an issue. It wasn't as big an issue before, but now it's really a kind of a political thing, probably because the whole communities are burning down and with Edison and all that stuff. Now it's more stringent, but since everybody that showed up, walked up and seen in the rut, it wasn't even covered yet. You can see the pipe, maybe they'll cut us some slack because of that.
I guess that's what I'm saying, but I think that we need to, not do stuff without calling. I mean, there's some roads we're not doing out of courtesy, we're doing because we have, like a tank or something on that road,
It's gonna be the
right?
same thing. It's gonna be the same. The only time we're gonna probably expend time unless we just have extremely slow time pre-planned. Like I know in a week, I'm gonna have free time. It's gonna be when we have a leak. And then when we have a leak, it's gonna take 3 times as much time to get the road graded because of that. Because it literally, I mean, I don't think anybody understands the number of gas lines we have on every road. But there's so many that you're gonna be, you have to grade, stop at the line, hand dig. Dig that 2 feet on each side of that yellow line. You gotta hand dig through the rock to make sure there's no gas line, and then you can grade past that. And when you look, like you look on Elm, you're talking about the yellow lines. Right, Becky? Earlier?
Yes.
At every one of those, you would have to stop and at 2 feet and dig a foot on each side. So it's a 2-foot span down to the depth you have to go. And some of these ruts are 12 inches deep. Or you're gonna have to dig 12 inches plus more, hand dig. It's not gonna be practical for us. So it's only gonna be in the rare circumstance where we have to.
It's so unfair that we have it on our shoulders when we are dealing with.
It shouldn't be
So much
just on
else.
our shoulders, and I think we're gonna need to address this, so I think there needs to be something on agenda, I don't know about
Well-
immediately, but the reason I'm saying is that it's not just us, I mean, it definitely affects us, but there's, there may be some sort of funding, there may be something, because it's affecting everyone, because there was a huge gas leak next to my house that almost took out that neighborhood a couple of years ago. And that was not us, that was the
That was the
electric
power, that was the
company.
power pole people.
Yeah.
Auguring without
Exactly.
USA.
Yeah.
And hit it. But the issue is it's not a water company decision to make. If we argue, we're just gonna get hammered even harder because you have to follow the letter of the law. And they're in the same circumstance that we are.
I'm not saying it's a water company.
So there's nothing we could discuss because it's plain, it's cut and dried in the law. What you're supposed to do, what you have to do, and there's no way we can compel Edison to bring in the dirt because like I said, it's the same thing as what we got.
I'm not talking about compelling any company specifically
So
to
what are
bring
you
in the
trying to
dirt,
say
I'm
we have
talking
to
the
discuss?
county.
The county refuses to do
Well, I
anything.
think that,
And it's like I said,
The county
you're
says
not
these are
hearing-
all.
You're not hearing what I'm saying though. You look at Elm Trail, it's eroded massively, but after the erosion, they put in houses and driveways. If you put in 3 feet of soil, because the pipes are supposed to be 3 feet below the surface, or water lines, now you're gonna have a driveway that comes here and hits a 3-foot wall of dirt that they can't get out of their driveway. Because the erosion has been like that. Half the driveways, more than half have been put in after the pipeline and after years of erosion. So the only solution is eventually the streets that with our mainline replacement that we put in our pipe, that's gonna drop our pipes. With the gas company, like down on Logan Trail and Grant, they have the same issue down there, but they have gas leaks. So now they have a contractor that's supposed to come in and they're gonna bury theirs 3 feet. So that'll be good for another 30 or 40 years, till that erodes again, and then there's no more soil. When you live in a mountain area with so much erosion, it's just the nature of the beast.
right, but there's taxes that get collected that, I mean, it's a bigger issue, it's not an issue just for the water company, it's an issue for probably all of the utilities to try
Up
to
here.
Oh,
address.
Well, most
So
of,
I'm not saying it's the water companies on the water company's back, but I'm saying that it may be something that we need to get with other utility companies and address in some way so that there's something that they, like some grant or
we
something.
can try, but you know
to
what,
bury this
well, Patrick Hedlund just sent a grant idea, an email that I could forward to you. And that has to do with drainage. It's not to put road back or whatever, but drainage. But we in Fraser Park are unique on the mountain in the sense that we have many trails that are dirt, that are steep. Pine Mountain Club doesn't,
Drainage is causing all the damage.
Pinyon Pines doesn't.
No, that's because their roads are paved.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. So there's
Yeah.
nobody to go in conjunction with because they all have their paved roads that are not eroding. We are the sole people on the mountain that have that issue. Everybody else has paved roads and their pipe and their infrastructure is protected by paving. If you think about all the water companies up here, that's the case. We're the only ones that have that issue. So
Right, but
it'd
it's
be
not
us.
just the water company, the electric company affects, I mean, they not so much because their stuff is above ground,
but
but
the
it,
gas
it
companies-
does affect, because when they go in with those poles, they affected the gas company, so. I mean, I don't know if there's something that can be done, but I'm just saying that maybe that's something we need to. at some
When a
point
grant
look
comes
at.
along, then it might be able to help it, but I just don't know what the solution is.
And the
The
county,
the grant would have to be all the main line replaced and dug and put deeper.
Yeah.
That's the solution, which we're working on already with grants.
Right.
That's the only thing that would solve our problem and the only thing that would solve the gas company's problem. Edison, 90% of it is above ground. They only had the issue because they had a guy that was distraught and deliberately drilled outside of the USA and hit a gas line in somebody's yard. That's how that happened. That could happen anywhere. But the rest of the problems, it's simply a matter of burying our lines deeper. And that's what we're working on grants for right now,
So we're just gonna have to call in the UFAs whenever we want to grade.
and be selective about the
Which
streets that
ones
we
we
grade.
do, absolutely.
and the county is only gonna tell you that every trail up here is private, and they are not doing anything. They will not send an ounce of dirt for you. So it's the people on that street that have to do something, and
So that is my report.
Thank you.
Sorry to be the bearer of bad news.
Administrative assistance report?
So I did a little bit of work looking into the equipment. It looks like a laptop maybe about 570, which you guys voted up to 700.
Yeah.
So maybe next week I'll secure that. I was looking on Amazon and there was a 70-inch TV for $469, I want to say. So it's a 4K, but that's all they offer now. That's your lowest quality is 4K now. So that was a pretty decent price. I think if it's okay with Johnny, I can throw it in the cart and then you could pick the mounting stuff because I don't know much about it.
Amazon's actually more expensive for everything. I don't know if it's, but we've just been too busy to go, but usually like, because we don't have an account with one of the other box, like the.
The only one that may be cheaper that I found when I bought my 70-inch at home was Best Buy during Black Friday sale. Otherwise, I was getting cheap.
Costco's pretty cheap. for mine.
Maybe, but, well, I buy it on my card. The district don't have a copy. I buy it on mine, but
Brahma was saying that there's a 65-inch for $499.
Yeah, $499. This is
Yeah.
bigger for less.
Yeah.
And it's actually sold through Best Buy. They're saying you can pick it up buy it on Amazon and pick it up at Best Buy, I think this particular.
so that's like the best of both worlds.
And then I wanted to clarify, so for the camera, we were talking about, were you just looking for a camera that gets a full shot of the boardroom? Or did you want me to look into where it picks up the individual facial recognition? Because that's when you're looking over $1,000.
I don't think we need individual facial recognition.
You're
I
just
think,
looking
I
for
think we
one
just need to
general-
do a camera closer that drops from the ceiling or something, it's just so it's not way back in the corner.
Yeah, so just a
They can
general
see the
boardroom,
border,
okay.
yeah.
It might be problematic for it dropping much, but wondering if we move it, then it won't pick up Tiffany or anybody. So maybe just a better camera still in the same kind of area or on top of that refrigerator. Because if we bring it out this way, then it's not gonna pick up.
I think she's want one like on top by the clock.
No, I was
That's gonna be
actually
the same
talking
distance.
more in, but yeah, I mean, you might be right, if it's not things would have to be like a more of a fisheye
Yeah, white.
camera.
Yeah.
Which sometimes distorts stuff.
So we definitely did not want to go with the Zoom equipment. Is that what the decision was?
Yes.
I don't think we wanna go with because it was so expensive, right? It wasn't guaranteed that it works, it wasn't like they didn't have a lot of people using it, they didn't have examples they could show us. Yeah, it's just not ready
Everything
yet,
else.
maybe at some point, but.
I think we're still light years ahead of a lot of districts with our hybrid meetings anyway, so.
I think it just needs to be good enough that you can see us, you can see who's talking as much as possible on like YouTube, because we're streaming it and
Mhm.
people can, a lot of people review things, I think. And, yeah, it just needs to be a decent camera.
Anything else, Tiffany?
No, that's it.
And the camera is with a microphone, correct? So, or are we doing the microphone separately? Because right now we're doing the microphone separate.
So right now we have that microphone. I was thinking too, we could always use that as the audio, the speakerphone, because then you have individual speakers that could be closer. So instead of using computer audio, we could do the phone-in audio and it might be clear. The only reason we didn't do it before is because this recorder does not pick up the speakerphone very well. It just has weird buzzing. But I've been using the Zoom, the YouTube to do the minutes and it's much clearer because we live stream. So if I continue to do that and I'm not reliant on this, we could actually go to the speakerphone.
And then we just need to be aware of not shuffling as much because you pick up a lot of shuffling on it.
Yeah, with those,
Yeah.
yeah, just kind of keep them clear enough away from you, but they have good range. So I think people would be able to hear us and then that has the speaker, we'd be able to hear people.
I think our concern, my and Tiffany's, as we talked about a lot, is we're not, real tech experts as far as what the best camera is and what we should buy. And we both feel a little uncomfortable with picking something that may look great, but isn't so great. And then, so finally, I just said, well, I'll just go ahead and help you and I'll just take credit for it because, we can only get what we get. We can only do the best we can, but we're definitely not the experts on camera equipment.
Can you ask Bill Weiss to direct us?
Yeah, I could ask him,
That's
but I don't
not
know that,
his
I don't know that he's
expertise either.
necessarily a media.
Yeah, you'd want like an AV
Consultant.
company if you're gonna do that,
Keith
What is
Bedard
it?
might be, but I don't know.
audio visual.
I mean, you can get a pretty good idea of reviews and, we'll just go over it. We'll just get the best one that we think is gonna work.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we need a crazy best I mean, you just need something with halfway decent resolution so that you can see, you can see well.
Yeah. 'Cause
But,
this one was working fine until it stopped working with Zoom.
It's just the compatibility and that would be the issue is buying a camera.
how
that's
long it's
compatible with
compatible
Zoom.
for.
Cause that one just started crashing Zoom and Bill Weiss wasn't able to get it working again.
Isn't there a media class or something at the high school? I don't know.
I wonder if Zoom isn't deliberately, designing into their software stuff that, precludes using
Yeah, I'm sure
aftermarket
they are.
stuff because they want to enrich theirs.
I'm sure they are.
I mean, that does happen. Because that worked fine until it didn't.
And yeah, it's a great camera. I wish I could still use it, but it kept crashing Zoom.
But maybe we tried again when we get a new laptop. Maybe it's a Zoom issue with the laptop. When we get a new
Yeah, it may
laptop,
just
maybe
not be
it'll work.
fast enough, like our laptop may not be,
So we'll
it
hold
may be
off.
a laptop issue as opposed to, maybe you should hold off on the camera, let's get the new laptop and try this camera with the new laptop, because I have issues with Zoom with my computer because I have an older computer.
Yeah, dude, and to be
So-
honest with you, I'm wondering if the computers that Bill picks out for us all the time, $550 computers. I mean, I spent twice that on my Surface Pro camera, my Surface Pro laptop, not too long ago. It's fast, and all our desktops have nothing but issues with speed and issues. and
We just
problems.
need to ask about speed, so, it just needs to be, it needs to have, it needs to be fast enough and have a good amount of like RAM and stuff, it doesn't need to, Bill can tell us that, he just needs to know what we need it for it. Specifically. So if all we need it for is, that's why I was saying maybe a little bit more expensive, because that's a pretty normal price for I think what we're looking for, but you just want a faster
Processor.
processor. yes.
Mhm.
And a lot of stuff that's cheaper, it's because it's like an older processor from a while ago.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Okey-dokey.
Okay, so are you finished with your report
I
now?
am, thank you.
so yeah, so we're gonna hold off on the camera, we're gonna get the laptop, we're gonna try to get a fast enough laptop
The laptop and the TV
and the,
or the monitor, basically, and that'll run, there'll have to be an HDMI splitter here. So, one plug with two,
which those are
And
pretty
then
cheap.
we're gonna have to run an HDMI. We're already running that one here. And then we'll have to run that one here, and then that should work. To have the two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we move on to number 7? Ad hoc committee reports, project committee.
Okay, so, as far as the project committee, we've attended the state update meeting. I have a question, and I guess this sort of loops over to that. I had on the financials, so we can bring it up again, the financials, but there's on my check, it says easement ad hoc. There is no such thing as the easements ad hoc. I believe that's the project committee, because the project committee is dealing with the easements and dealing with all kinds of stuff for both. There's 2 different projects, but the 5 to 7 projects and the Lake of the Woods
Did we check the
consolidation.
dates, the
And
date?
then, yeah, but I'll bring the date up on the financials,
cool.
because the date's weird too, but I'm just, Deborah, please note that, I'm gonna bring this up again in financials, but I think that that's supposed to really be the project committee, and it was just, I think Director Nyman wasn't part of that, maybe. I think I ended up being, dealing with, I don't even know what it was, but, and then, so yeah, so there's really, we've just been moving forward, and now we have this other, the pipeline project, questions for Lawrence that we need to bring up at the state update meeting again, and that you also brought up on that email, and I just don't know, he
Yeah,
didn't.
I just
ask-
showed you a copy of that.
Oh,
email.
this is, yeah, so I gotta read this. So, yeah, I think that's it for that. There's nothing, really, and we did vote, and Director Nyman is now part of that committee, so. That's it for that.
Okay, accounts payable committee.
We went through the bills. We've got, an issue again at the bank on one of our lovely accounts. On the, USDA payment fund, they charged us another $25 service fee. So, we just can't get away from that fund. So, you guys are gonna have to go in and talk to them. And it's gonna be Brenda now,
It's gonna be Brenda.
because Sherry's leaving.
Sherry's leaving.
Sherry left.
Oh, Sherry left.
Really?
Is Brenda the new manager?
Temporary interim until they get this.
So-
Make her the manager.
So that's,
Yeah, I mean, we were talking to Brenda before, so that's not a big deal. So she knows most of the issues that are happening. And she said Sherry was, above her. So, okay, so Director Nyman and I need to get together on that.
yeah, and then, we'll go through the bills and all
Yeah,
that.
and then I have some questions, but not till we get.
Yeah,
to
till we get to the actual
financials.
financials, so. That's it.
Okay, that's it. Financial committee.
So financial committee, we have met a couple of times. We need to meet again. I was not feeling well from all my health stuff that's been going on. So we are gonna try to meet tomorrow. I think, Deborah, we're gonna try to meet just a little bit less time, because I don't know if I can handle like 3 hours, but we can meet and go further along. What we are doing is we're approaching it, we've merged the 2 committees, the budget and the, and all the stuff that was happening on the book asset. And we're going through the budget, which is then showing us stuff we need to do as part of the book asset. So we kind of have a way of working. It's a little bit slow still, but we slogged through a bunch of stuff, and I think we got a better process, if I can remember it, because we've been away from it for like 2 weeks now. But,
Yeah, I know.
but I think we had a better process going the last time we met. And so hopefully it'll be a little bit faster, and so, yeah, we're gonna meet tomorrow.
And if we look into the future, we said we'd be trying to be done by end of August, September. I think things are gonna look so much clearer. I know for me, they're looking for the asset detail stuff, I think will be clearer and more defined.
Yeah, so we're still trying to drop some things off of the books too, so that we have a lot of stuff, we just have no idea what it is, why it's there, and that stuff will go away, and then I think it'll be easier for the next group of, whatever directors try to attack this problem in the future. It may be a little easier because they won't have all of these things that don't make any sense, hopefully. Or less stuff that doesn't make any sense.
It does move really slow. Treasurer committee,
Okay, so that's what we were just talking about. I need to get with Director Lyman. Like I said, we
The
did
bank.
go through and check to make sure that everything was being paid up to date, which it is. Director Nyman had made all the transfers and all kinds of stuff, so I think we're up to date there. I think the only thing that we're not up to date in is that we need to go to see Brenda again, and try to figure out what's going on with why we're always getting billed for stuff that we shouldn't be billed for.
okay. Financial business discussion vote on accounts payable and financial information. That's you, Deborah.
Good evening, everybody.
Hi,
Good
Deborah.
evening.
So we cut 31 checks out of the revenue operating account for a total of $40,345.25. The three extraordinary transactions, there was a Visa payment for $5,515.41. Our monthly, just drew a blank. JPIA employee benefit payment for $9,041.87. And the third item was the Southern California Edison bill for $8,316.01.
Which was $1,000 more than last month.
Yes.
It'll be
And-
an item in the next meeting.
Well, I can comment on that, because I don't know what the agenda is going to accomplish, but the comment is, right now, with well 6 not keeping up at different times during peak pricing, we have to run the boosters 3 and 4 at well 5, which increases, if they're smaller, they use more energy. So the bill's gonna go up every time we have to kick those on. And that's what's happening right now. If well 6 pumped the 350 gallons that well 4 used to pump, it would keep up, but it's not. So our plan in the future is to upgrade those boosters down there. And which is gonna take some time, but then it'll be cheaper to run those when we need to. So that's accounting for some of it. So just so you know, that's why it's going up right now. We've used way more water this month because of all the leaks we had with those 5 leaks that caused a bunch of water loss and a bunch of energy costs.
Okay,
So that being the case, I would like to add I think it's a good idea just to have it as an agenda item so we can discuss it and everyone understands why it might be more, because I'm always like, oh my God, I thought every month it's gone up $1,000 for the last 3 months at least. So, but I would like to add to that BTE, which I have some huge issues with, and I really think we need to explore something else. Because every month this bill goes up too, by $100 or something.
Yeah.
I
So,
agree, and they're doing a terrible job.
and
They're putting through phone calls that are obviously not emergencies, that we have to pay emergency pay for.
I'm Director Garcia, I'm sorry.
Question, Johnny, are there any applications by which we could use solar technology to help our cause?
The only thing we've determined, and as you know, I've spent considerable amount of time talking to 2 solar people. Neither one ever submitted a proposal for the district. And then when I've talked to other water companies, the bulk of our energy comes from boosters. They can't provide that type of solar power for our boosters. The only
Oh,
thing
you're
we-
talking about the soft start and the hard start or something like that?
Now, the soft start and the hard start would help, but that's expensive as well. But the size of the field, solar field you need, and the fact that we have 3-phase 480 power for the boosters, it's not really conducive to use solar power for that. people say, oh, districts use it all over, but they do for like the office lights, parking lot lights. But I've yet to find somebody or a solar company that can definitively say, yes, this is gonna work for your system. I've gone through two different rounds of spending hours with people only to have them not even submit a proposal for their solar.
Director Schoenberg?
I think if we just have this as an agenda item, and we may have to table it multiple times if other stuff's going on, but I think, reworking some of the problem companies or figuring out maybe a different way of, I don't know, there's just so I'd like to kind of make.
Is it normal for us to have, I mean, we're already, sometimes we have a 4-page agenda. We're certainly gonna have a 4-page agenda.
I know, but if
No,
we
but-
don't have it on there, then we won't address it. So I
Okay.
just think we can, at the beginning of the meeting, we can table stuff if we need to, but I do think this should be added on there too, because I know we get really busy and things just like go by and go by and go by, but this has been an issue for a while. So I just wanted,
What
if
bill
you
is
guys are okay with that, this is our
That's the
answering service. BTE. And we're getting charged, it's a whole discussion, so that's why I don't wanna have to discuss it all in financials, but I do think that it's a bigger discussion, just like electrical is a bigger discussion.
Thank you.
So, and then I have a couple other items, they're just small items that I wanted to bring up for Deborah.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so on United States Postal, we just need to, and this is kind of probably I don't know who's gonna handle this, but we have Cassandra on here still. I notice on some of our bills, we just have old people who are passed away, so I just think as a contact, the phone number's correct, but it still would be nice to fix the
Ask the
contacts on
post
some of
office?
these. This
Who's
is
the
the
name?
post office.
I wouldn't have any
I don't
idea.
even know if
office?
Sandra ever got on it.
I don't, she was the contact for checking the prepaid postage, I think.
I have no
So-
idea who works at the post office.
Anyway, so that's one thing.
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you. I didn't understand the question.
Okay,
Is
so
it for me?
the billing, well, this one's not specifically for you. I don't know who needs to fix this, but it's on
I'll tell
the,
Tanya to change it to her name, I guess, because she's the one that goes to the post office.
yeah, Tanya's the one that goes to the post office. So we just have a previous person who worked here on here as a contact.
I
And then there's a few that still have Greg's name on them. I don't know.
I've tried to get them removed numerous
Yeah,
times,
I
they
know.
never removed.
So anyway, so that was one thing. That's not so much Deborah, but Deborah, there's a, on here on our credit card, it's a dumb one. It's a inexpensive $11.49. On the readout, on the printout, it has apple.com, the one that we never get a receipt for, the $11.49, which is insurance. You have it listed correctly here on the no receipt. It's listed for the right classification, but then on this readout, on the readout, I'm pointing it at the monitor, but the monitor's not the camera. On the readout, it's listed as website computer service. So it's supposed to be insurance for the phone. So it's right on the little paper here and wrong on the front. So I don't know what it actually went under. On this one, it's equipment and liability insurance, which is correct.
Okay, so when I come in, I will research it.
Yeah,
and
so I'm
look at
gonna
both of them and then change it.
leave that at the top. I'm gonna leave all these at the top if you're just wondering why they're out of order. So one of them is just not you, it's to change the name on it. One of them is BTE, which we're gonna address as part of an agenda item. One is that you just need to research, so I'm gonna leave that on the very top. One of them
Okay.
is to do with D Jasper. D, we got an invoice, number 2207013, dated July 31st, 2022. It has two board meeting payments for the same date. So I'm just wondering if that's a mistake. Because usually you charge the 1 hour. I mean, you're here more than an hour, so, but in the past, you've been charging the 1 hour at 2:04, and then it has it twice under the same date.
I'll check it out. What date was it, Lisa? I'll check it out.
7/14/2022.
Okay.
And it's invoice 22070013.
2207013.
07013.
Okay.
We're gonna go ahead and send you the check. I think might be the best way to do it, and then just you may wanna, I don't know, whatever, either we can hold the check and have you check it, or we can send the check and have you reimburse if it's a reimbursement somewhere else, but maybe it's better for us to just hold this one. Is that easier? I'm talking in the wrong place again. It's for $408, but it's just, I think it's 204 charged twice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I suspect that too. I'll check it out.
Can we hold this one check?
Yeah, we can either hold it or you guys,
Or we could pay it, and then if it's charged twice, you just take it off, we just need to make a note here, and you would make a note that we wouldn't pay it for like or
just take it off this one. Yeah,
Okay,
credit this one.
okay, so then we'll go ahead and, so I've got that in here too. And then the last one was the one I already brought up, which was the easement ad hoc. It's on a check for me for $33.33. And there's two issues with it. One is there is no such thing as an easement ad hoc, so I don't know how it got changed to that. I don't.
That's how it read on the log.
But I don't think I wrote that, so I think somebody wrote it in for me somehow.
Okay, so tell me how to change it.
So it should be project ad hoc, and then it's dated the 1st of August, so shouldn't that be paid this next time and not this time? Because usually you only pay July, not August. Yeah, yes, no?
I'm gonna have to look at the records that are there in the office and project ad hoc.
Same thing, I think, I guess I'll take the check and then I'll not count one of them or something. I don't know how we can do it, what the best way is to do it. It's $33.33, but I think it's supposed to be billed on next month.
Yes, it probably has the wrong due date. It was probably a typo on the due date.
Right, so if you and I could just remember that, and Tiffany maybe or something, so it just doesn't get paid to me twice. Since I'm kind of out of it sometimes with these kidney things going on. I don't wanna charge us twice for something.
Well, yeah, if you want to keep the check, if we leave the dates the way they are, it's paid.
Okay, so, yeah, I just don't know how that works though for your bookkeeping, because it's August instead of July. So anyway, we can talk about that later rather than.
Okay.
But, so that's what's in here that's kind of, that I pulled out, that I talked about.
And then the AT&T bill,
And then,
we only paid, it was again over $1,000, but we only paid the $341.
right, but that seems to be
Well, it's
okay
supposed
so
to.
far, but
it's
we'll
a-
see, so we also have
well,
to keep track of that, because
Yes,
that-
because they keep putting in
they
late
keep
fees.
putting more charges and more
Yeah,
late fees,
so
right?
it keeps
And they
going up.
assured me that that was gonna all be squared away.
Fixed somehow.
As soon as several billing cycles went by.
Yeah, and I'm just saying that's.
AT&T, what can I say?
So this is three billings in.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah,
Okay,
Johnny's trying to be on top of it.
I noticed one thing that I just want to mention, and it's just that we are now paying cyber liability
Oh,
insurance
yes.
separate from our general liability insurance, and up until now,
We
it
haven't done
hasn't
that.
been, but now, and I imagine it will go up next year.
Which, as a cyber comment, at least for our SCADA and our system, Ness assures me that as soon as he gets all that stuff installed, that we're gonna be as impregnable as you could be as far as that system goes, because of the new radios it's putting in and the new computer he's gonna put in. So maybe when we update the questionnaire for next year's insurance that'll help us. Although I don't even know if they focus on our distribution as much as our office computers, so.
Yeah, I mean, it was just real general questions.
Yeah.
The one that we did. Okay, does anybody have anything else they want to say about financials, or did someone want to motion about paying the bills?
I will move that we pay our bills.
I'll second that.
Okay, Director Kelling has made the motion to pay the bills. Director Schoenberg has seconded it. Roll call of directors, Director Garcia.
Aye.
Director Nyman is absent. Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
Director Kelling,
Aye.
Gibson, aye, so it's 4-0, 1 absent, motion carried. Unfinished business, are we going to do a closed session?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he emailed and asked for time and I told him 6:50, but
Okay.
maybe he hasn't read the email.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because I had originally said 6, but then I don't know, yeah, because I didn't know what.
So he's not ready now?
No, I
No,
think he
he's- I
is,
think
we
he's
just
ready, he
need to
just doesn't know.
contact him. So we just need to announce, I think, this and let the public know that we are going to be going into closed session.
Excuse me?
Can I just say it out here? Yes?
I'm gonna text
So
you.
we're done,
Yeah, we're
Deborah.
Deborah.
Oh, yeah,
Anything
Deborah,
else?
nice
Anything
meeting you.
else?
Okay, have a good evening. Thank you.
You, and then for Carlos and Dee and Oscar, and all of the Lake of the Woods folks, we just, we need to talk to our attorney and we're gonna announce that, so, you may wanna hang out or, take a little, I don't know how long it's gonna take us, hopefully not real long, maybe a half hour or so.
Oh, no.
So gentlemen
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
And women,
and women, sorry.
Hmm.
Can they listen in?
they cannot listen in, it's a closed session
Okay.
dealing with litigation.
Okay, you need to get off the call?
No, you can stay on, just know
We're
that
gonna
there's
go.
gonna be nothing going on because we go to a separate room. And so you can stay on, but it's probably gonna be approximately maybe half an hour or so.
In other words, you can take a break.
Yes,
Dinner time.
Okay, does everybody understand?
I'm waiting for Ellen to jump on and then. I
so
can
we're
take
just
the-
waiting for our attorney to jump on so that we can do that. I mean, I don't know if I don't think we should necessarily go on to a whole nother item.
No, because the
Maybe
next
we should
thing is.
take a bathroom break and then when we get back here, we'll only be 5 minutes and Ellen will be there.
Okay,
Yes.
does anybody want to make that?
I will
motion?
make that we take a 5-minute break.
I'll second that.
Okay, the motion's been made by Kelling and seconded by Garcia. Take a break, roll call of directors, Director Garcia.
Aye.
Director Nyman is absent, Director Schoenberg,
I,
Director Kelling.
Aye.
Gibson, aye, 4-0, 1 absent.
and
So
then we
we are
just need
going,
to note the break, when we come back from break, you have to read that stuff
Yes,
in the.
okay, and
So
we're
the-
going
And then
Are
we
you
just
ready
need to
to-
see who's still here.
Okay, this is the August 11th meeting for the Fraser Park Public Utility meeting. We're coming off a break at 7:09. We were not able to contact the attorney, so we're postponing the closed session and
We just need to see who's actually on here. Are you still here, Carlos D and Oscar?
he is.
D's here. Carlos and Oscar, are you here? Looks like
I'm
Oscar
here.
just.
Yeah, we're
is
here.
Okay, so,
Okay.
and Lake of the Woods, I don't know who's here, who's not here, but we're gonna go ahead and go to our next item, which is 10.
Okay, so item number 10, discussion vote on FPLOW Consolidation Planning Project A, discussion vote on the project timeline. Okay, so you redid that, Dee, right?
Yes, I did. And I tightened things up a little bit more. One of the things that I think we need to discuss is when we really want to start the municipal services review. Once we get our sphere of influence identified, then I think the next thing that we would do logically would be to start the MSR. So what I've done is I placed the sphere of influence map being completed September next month. And then the municipal services review would be done October, November, maybe possibly part of December. I haven't talked to Stanley Hoffman about their scheduling yet, but I think that's doable if we want to move it forward.
Okay, does anybody have anything to say?
On task 2, the draft source water assessment program report.
Yeah.
What is that again?
Well, it's a review of our sources to determine whether or not there's any contamination or possibilities of contamination.
So isn't that kind of part of so you put it before the MSR because we need that for the MSR as well, right?
I don't think we need that for the MSR, but that is definitely something we're going to need for the annexation.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I know, we met once for the sphere of influence and we were just tying a few more things up, and then you were gonna do an overlay map with an overlay on it so that we could kind of confirm that we're good. So
If I may share my screen, I can show you what we'll be discussing next week probably regarding the maps. May I do that?
Who's working on it?
Tell me if you see the screen.
We got it.
There we go.
Okay, well, this is the overlay. The last time we met, we were a little bit concerned that, it's kind of hard to just look at section numbers and sometimes even streets and really know exactly where you are in the world. And so we overlaid the annexation map with the Google Earth presentation. And that's really what you see here, which will give us a bit of a better idea of what we're dealing with. This happens to be the east side. And then we've done the very same thing for the west end at Lake of the Woods. And so now we have the Forest Service boundary. We have the west and east sections of the annexation pretty well mapped. we have, let me see here, there we go. And we have it overlaid with, with generally the features, the physical features. So I think at this point, I think one more meeting and we should be able to go ahead and delineate the sphere of influence. And once that's done, I will be in contact with the county folks, LAFCO, and find out just exactly. In fact, I'll do that maybe even tomorrow. Just find out just what the process is. It's been a few months since we talked about it, so I'll get an update from them as to what we need to do to get at least get the sphere of influence map submitted. And then I'm sure, nothing will be approved until we get our MSR done.
Can I ask you a question, Dee?
Yes,
What's the green line?
that's the Forest Service boundary.
That's what I thought it was Forest Service. All right.
Yeah,
Okay, and my fault, sorry about that, but yeah, that's actually our E on 10, but I think that being the case that you've already done this, that I think your timeline's good.
okay. All right, that's good. Do you want to try to schedule a meeting? Maybe Monday I'll send out an invite or something.
Yeah, hold
Do
on,
something
'cause that's gonna be Director Nyman, and he's not here, so I don't know what his
Oh, yeah,
schedule is, so,
I can send out an invite or maybe just a question for everybody to see when they're available, and then we'll get together one more
I mean,
time.
we could do it the same time as the, maybe a little earlier than the monthly meeting, like before the state update on Thursday. I don't know if you're available, because I know that we have to be available for that. And if we, I guess, met here and did the update meeting from here, we could do it.
I'll have to, I know I've got a couple of appointments next week. See what Thursday looks like.
Because that's usually not a whole, that means usually an hour to an hour and a half anyway.
As a side note, our attorney has now joined us.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah,
That's
and
not-
so as soon as we finish this line item, maybe we can go into closed session.
Okay, well, that's what I've done on the engineering report, pushed it to March of next year. And then on the final engineering report with the detailed cost breakdown mid-year. And environmental documents, of course, that's going to be, I think that's something that Tom can do and meet that date. I haven't discussed it with him, but I think that's a doable date. Once he has the final report and, we've determined just what our alignments are going to be. I think he can go from there. Then finishing the plans and specifications mid-year, well, April 2024, having a draft set by the end of next year. So I think that's a doable schedule if we can, if the government will cooperate with us with respect to LAFCO. And
On
that,
that schedule, we're 2 years out for the construction application,
right,
or a little less than 2 years.
I thought we could spend a whole career on one project.
So I think I'm okay with that. We have the okay to keep revising this as we go, but I'm happy with it right now.
Okay, is there anything we need to do? Do we need to?
I don't think we need a vote per se, because it's gonna keep getting revised. I mean, Lawrence was suggesting that we keep revising as needed. so we're keeping on track.
Okay.
top of it.
Okay, so we finished with that line item. And so now are we going to go into closed session
Yes.
again?
Yeah,
Okay, guys, so we're going on a break again, Oscar and Carlos and Pam.
Sorry.
No time limit though, we may get through it quicker.
You know,
yeah, we don't know how long it's gonna take us, so just be listening with one ear or something.
and Joan too, sorry, okay. Oral announcement prior to a closed session, government code. Oh, I can't read it.
54957.7A.
We will be having a closed session.
You need to read it just as it says.
A representative of the
A representative of the legislative body to orally announce the items to be discussed in closed session prior to any closed session meeting. Conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, government code 554.
54956.9.
one item.
One item. And we are going into a closed session at 7:20.
Okay, I'll create the room.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, we're
Hi,
trying-
Alan, we're just going into a closed, we're going into a breakout room. You're gonna be invited in a minute.
Okay, I'm in my car, so I did the one tap, so hopefully you can figure out a way to bring me with you.
What does that mean?
it should work.
Yeah, Tiffany just needs to, put him in the room.
It's just Alan and.
Should just be out.
Alan and then the board, this room.
Hey, Tiffany,
Yeah,
are you guys on closed session already?
yet,
I'm working on it.
Oh, because I was gonna say, because I can still hear you guys, so.
Oh, yeah, I'm trying to make the room.
Yeah, but
Okay.
in a minute, hopefully you shouldn't hear us or we've got problems.
Okay,
But thank you for letting us know.
okay, bye.
It's a whole new world.
It's not letting boardroom join it, huh?
No, I'm not gonna invite. the board,
Wait, you have to invite them.
No. That's that,
Does one of the mics still pick up?
that's not on audio. I can invite that one. But that's only video.
Yeah, no.
So,
Yeah, you don't-
we're gonna-
Just do like you normally do.
Make sure I do this right. Alright, now we gotta get G back in there.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be.
There he is. Yeah, he's right there.
Oh, there.
Yeah,
board.
you made it back.
I was looking at the others. There we
The
go.
boardroom back in. Did you have to turn that back on?
Yeah, our video, yeah.
Yeah.
They can hear us.
Sorry it took so long, everybody.
Johnny's fault.
It's my fault. Usually is.
Can we make sure they can hear us?
Can you hear us, everyone?
Oh, good, okay.
Okay,
can hear
so
you
we're gonna open back up.
Okay. We're coming out of a closed session at 8:04. We have nothing to report from that session. So
Yeah,
now we
first
will
time.
continue with the agenda item
10B.
10B, discussion, vote on a new budget adjustment request. Is that Carlos? Who is that?
And that budget adjustment again.
Oscar?
No, they were supposed to discuss this. And I think it's still gonna be discussed further to find out how much we're gonna move and what we can move.
Okay,
Okay.
What, oh, that was on the budget adjustment?
Yeah.
okay, can we move on to 10C?
Yes.
Discussion vote on production well property appraisals.
We're not moving forward on that yet, correct, Dee?
Unmute.
DJ,
You're muted.
DJ, I'm back.
I'm just a little bit slow with the clicker, okay? It's getting late tonight. Anyhow,
Don't worry.
you know, appraisals are done. We're not moving forward with any action at this point in time.
Okay.
Okay, D, discussion vote on moving forward with a resolution for the intention to purchase the production well property or easement, so,
That also is on hold until we
okay.
are ready to move forward, correct, Dee?
That's correct. It's on hold at this point in time.
And didn't we already take care
So
of E?
we already pretty much did E, we did look at the map for the district's sphere of influence for the annexation. And we saw the overlay, we're just gonna meet again, so we're waiting for Dee to kind of affirm whether he can do that on Thursday or not. I think, or, you know, check his calendar, and then Joan, I think you had said that you were pretty available, that we just need to let you know, kind of what we decide, and we need to find out from Director Nyman if he's available, whenever Dee is available. And myself.
Okay, and you got that right, Joan? Think she's
Hi,
here?
guys. Yeah, on Thursday, I've got a open bid meeting in the afternoon. If we can do it in the morning, that would be more helpful.
It would have to happen in the morning, Dee, before our state update meeting. Otherwise, I would not be able to do it because I have additional things on Thursday as well.
Let's stay updated meeting.
The state update meeting is at 11, so we'll have to have
So we
that like
have to
10 or
have that
9:30 or
9
something,
10.
or 9. I'm just proposing that I think Director Nyman and I could be here and stay here for the state update meeting, if that's how it works. I don't know if that would work for you or not, if you would need, your office for the state update meeting, if that's the case, it would have to be on another day.
I'm good in the morning. I may be up there anyway because we'll be potholing. So I may be up there and anyway. And then, 10 o'clock comes and I'm up there, well then I'll attend the meeting there. If not, of course, I'll be here. But what time did you want to meet on the?
Oh, and I'm sorry, our state update meeting's at 10, so we would have to be at 9.
I think that would be plenty of, I think that would be plenty of time.
But would you be, you're saying you're up here for the potholing, so would you be okay with that if we met at 9 to 10 and then you would still be up here? You wouldn't have time to get back to Bakersfield for the state updates. You would need whatever you need up here, right?
Right, that's correct. And so, yeah, it would be fine, that'll work. That'll work for me.
It'd be perfect. Be nice to have Dee in the office during the state update meeting.
Okay, so we would just need Director Nyman, but I would hope that he's already gonna be available at 10, so hopefully he'd be available at 9.
Okay, very good. So we can move on to F. Discussion vote on the project municipal service review, quote, draft MSR, data collection, scope of work, and
So I think we actually addressed this a little bit as well, that that Dee was gonna talk to LAFCO about what we needed additionally to file the sphere of influence map. And then we would be able to move forward on the MSR.
okay.
I will talk with Ravish at Stanley R. Hoffman's office to see if his April 6th, he revised his proposal. Remember, he had given us one in January of last year.
Yeah, we were still concerned about the exorbitant amount of money that was gonna take, so I think that was our only question from before, and I don't think we ever answered that question. That it was, we had done quite a bit of work already, and I remember when we kind of stopped dealing with that we were still concerned about that quote.
His original quote was 24,000. His April quote is 12.
Oh, okay.
12 plus, so he recognized that. So I think he's still good, but of course, I haven't talked with him, but I think he'd still be fine for that. I'll check.
Okay, can we move on to G, discussion vote on the early drilling of well 8?
So I believe, Dee, where were we on well 8? We were still talking to Lawrence about how that might work. We had discussed the environmental, and I think, what we were told is that we would potentially be able to break well 8 off from the rest of the project.
Yes,
Because it was, that the environmental could be done as a separate item, and that was due to something called, now it's escaping my brain.
You mean the declaration that it is an independent utility?
Independent, yes.
Yeah.
So we just need a declaration that it, say that again, that it's an independent
Independent utility,
utility.
yes.
Thank you for remembering that. I had forgotten
And,
that.
yeah, that's, it was really good to have that conversation because he's been working through that very same thing with another client. So he's well versed in what needs to be done. And so, I sent him a map today of well 8 again, of what we proposed, the property we proposed to take, and the easement from the well 8 site to well 5. And so I provided him with that information, and then just told him that he's not authorized to move ahead with anything until the board is authorizes him to do so. But I'm just feeding him information so that when that happens, he'll have hopefully everything that he needs.
So we need to have that discussion yet again on the state update meeting.
Mhm. Let me see, the things that Lawrence really wanted was an updated budget for the entire project. And we'll take what we produced years ago, I think 2017, it might have been 2015, and update all those costs so that he'll have the complete cost of the at least estimate for the project, the annexation project. And then he has all the information regarding cost estimates for drilling the new well and all of that. Everything has been provided to him, I think, that he needs except for that. And then a letter that I would write, I assume, that basically reviews what we've done up to date, which is basically drilled the test well. And then at that time, we would also talk about acquisition of the property, because that'll be very important with respect to getting financing. So there's a few things that we have to move ahead with, I think, before Lawrence will be comfortable with running it on up to his administrators. But we're working on it.
Okay.
He also wanted that memo D that reiterates the reasons why we're gonna drill well 8 early, but he wanted you to emphasize that independent utility reason.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to H, discussion vote on the Lake of Woods projects and consolidation.
So this is in there really for Lake of the Woods, for Joan, Stan, Mary, and Pam, of course. But just to, if there's other items that need to be discussed.
I think we're all good on the Lake of the Woods end. Let Pam chime in if she thinks anything, but we're on schedule.
Yeah, our bid opening is on the 18th of August. So we have nothing to report.
That sounds great. Discussion vote on claims and payouts. We don't have any, do we, Carlos?
No, not until the
No.
state meeting.
Okay.
The 4260
Discussion vote update.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we do have the.
Tiffany's come, yeah. talk about that.
Sorry. Carlos sent us the updated claim 20 with the updated form 260.
Right, but that was from the previous.
This is, yeah,
Claim.
the latest approved claim.
Okay. Now I'm lost again, guys.
So it's just, so as far as discussion on claim and payout, we all have a copy of the, this revised and approved claim.
Okay. Moving on to number 12, discussion
11.
vote.
Yeah, number 11.
Number 11,
We just did I.
we just did G.
We just did 10I. 10I.
Oh, gosh, sorry. Oh, discussion vote on claims and payouts.
We
Yeah,
just,
there's
we
one for
just
each
did
one.
that. So we just need
Okay.
11.
Yeah.
Discussion vote update on FPPUD meter replacement project and emergency well supply project. Please forgive me for, trying to.
Plans and specs, I think I sent out a link to the plans and then a set of the specifications for the project. We're ready to go as soon as the board takes a look at that and says it's fine. We also sent information.
Wait, you're ahead of us. You're talking about the meter portion?
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
sorry if
not,
I
we're not there
confused you.
yet. We're on A. So on 11A, we really don't have an update, anything else on drilling the well. We're just waiting. We haven't heard anything negative from the drillers, correct? We're just waiting to try to get a license agreement to try to get on the property.
Yeah, that's.
Tell you what, we're kind of cringing when we think about that. We're hoping that he'll hold his price, but boy, we're moving through the year here pretty fast.
Yeah.
How far are we into our, how long has it been since we did the bid?
Oh, my goodness, we're past it. I think we did that in April and it was 60 days and he said he would go 90. So May, June, July, now we're in August. You know, they have a really good reputation of trying to hold to their price. So we have some confidence in that. But boy, we better.
And part of it was that they weren't ready either but they are now. Correct?
They're ready. They were ready. You know, they will fit us in as soon as we say go, then they'll put us in the schedule. And it could be that they'd be ready right away. Or it could be that, you know, we'll have to wait for the rig to free up. So as soon as we get our temporary easement, we'll tell them, put us on the schedule.
Okay, and that's 11B, so we really don't have anything else on that. We're just waiting to move forward.
Mhm.
Right?
Right.
So 11C, we're on?
Yeah, discussion vote on the status of the meter replacement budget and requesting additional funding. There you go, Dee.
Okay, I got ahead of myself here. Plans and specs are ready to go. We're ready to go out, go to the street with them, but the board has to take a look. I sent them out. I intended to do that last week.
I'm sorry, Dee, but we're still 2 ahead. This is just on the project budget and requesting additional funding.
C, letter C.
Then we have,
So
Bridge
we're,
loan.
Bridge loan.
we're okay on that right now. We're just, we can't move forward on additional funding, correct, Dee? So we're really okay on the budget. We have an issue with the bridge, with the, not the bridge loan, but we just need to, make sure that that's all ready to go, so I think we can't do anything else on C until we have D finalized.
Did he do his thing for the bridge loan?
I emailed it.
Can we get to
emailed
D?
it, So Oscar might have. it.
Discussion vote on the bridge loan for meter replacement.
that'd be awesome.
So I have some good news for you guys. The application is under final review. You should get a commitment letter sometime next week and the finalized contract agreement about 2 weeks, 3 weeks latest after that.
That is
Or-
good news. Thank you.
Now,
Hopefully in September.
Okay, so we can move on to E. Discussion vote on the plans and specifications for the meter replacement.
Oh, there you go, Dee.
All right. Forget what I was gonna say. No, just kidding. I sent out the specifications and the plans, a link to the plans and the specifications. And if the board would review it, that would be great. We're ready to go.
You didn't send it to
I-
me, Dee, so I can't get it to the board.
I'm not sure I got that.
Tiffany said you didn't give it to her.
Well, I printed I have the link if you guys didn't get that, but I also printed one copy of plans and specs. I didn't know if it was just ad hoc that wants it. I've reviewed this whole packet right here and plans, but now it's up to you guys.
Dee, could you forward me the link for the plans and specifications for the meter project?
Yes, I'll do that, Oscar.
I
Sorry.
think you need to send it to Tiffany also, and that we haven't, so that we can get it. I don't believe, yeah, I have it in front of me now because Johnny just handed it, but.
But that's not the plans, that's just the specs.
But
Plans, I
Director
can't-
Nyman, so yeah, I mean, if you send the link to Tiffany and you send to Oscar,
Who wants a copy?
I think it would be, I don't know, unless if everyone
So
wants
link to
it.
the plans and specs.
Yeah, yes, if you
want the
guys
link?
want, if you want a printout or anything, that's all.
No, I'm not gonna waste that. I'd come in here and review this anytime.
Okay,
But we want you to have it in case
Yeah,
you do
perfect.
need to prepare stuff.
yeah.
Okay. Can we move on to F?
Johnny shares.
Yes,
Discussion vote on going out to bid for the meter replacement?
can't do that yet. Till
Well-
we get this done.
So we gotta finish, and then we can do this, so it'll
Yeah,
be,
because the date in there says, what is it, Dee, about 2 weeks to go out to plant, go out to bid?
On the, yeah, and the job walk too, we have a couple scheduled, but of course, you know, we can change those dates, but basically we're ready to go. So, you know, just when the board's ready, we're ready and we'll put it on the street.
It's a pretty easy review because the plans, the maps are very simple because it's just meters. There's not a lot of detail on those maps. Then the specs there, that big old thick packet, most of that is just legalese, contracts, you know, what we expect. So that's pretty quick review. And then there's not a whole lot that has to actually be looked at. I mean, you have to look at all of it, but it goes fairly quick.
okay. G, discussion vote on claims and payouts?
So claim 5 has already been sent to the state and should have claim 6, a draft of claim 6 to be reviewed by the ad hoc first during the ad hoc call, and then I'll have it for the rest of the board.
Okay, very good. Number 12, discussion vote on pipeline replacement project. A, discussion vote update on potholing and mapping.
What's happening right now?
Would you like to start, Dee, or you want me to?
Well, go ahead, Johnny, you start and then I'll back clean up.
So Lyle's, not this week, because they had a pre-planned week off, but the week before, they came up and they were potholing. They did the most difficult corner, which is Oregon and North End Trail. Dee and Curtis had planned out the order that we would do the potholing, at least the initial. Partway through with a discussion with Dee, I changed that because we since had the issue I talked about with Summit Trail. So we're gonna change the order around a little bit. We're gonna start potholing Summit in multiple places, to try to find out exactly how the pipes run. I asked Dee and Curtis if they would ask Lawrence if there was some way we could start dipping into the actual construction phase of it to start doing some replacement. There was a response from Lawrence that we didn't have all the paperwork in correctly. Since that time, I seen where Carlos forwarded the stuff. There was just an email error. So Carlos could comment on that, but he went ahead and forwarded the correct stuff Lawrence wanted. But it's still not looking like it's something that we could spend right away, but we would have to clarify probably at our state update meeting on whether or not we could get reimbursed for some mainline replacement. Is that correct, Dee?
That's correct. The state, I think we're fairly far along. They understand the risk that we have with respect to the pipelines that are in Summit. And so I think we're going to get hopefully moved ahead and not take too much time. I think what we can do, we will be potholing up at Summit per your directions, Johnny, and then we'll cross section as well and get ready to prepare a set of plans. And we could have a set of plans and specifications out for Summit probably in 60 days. And hopefully by that time, and, you know, that means we'd be moving ahead pretty quickly. And we maybe don't necessarily have to move that quickly, but we can.
Sorry.
And we would then probably dovetail in with the availability of the funding, because the state, you know, in their letter of commitment, I think, Carlos, you can probably address that maybe better than I. But the state recognized in their letter in, I believe it was August of last year, that we that we needed to get some of these lines financed earlier than later. And I think Lake of the Woods is doing that, Pam and Joan. And so, you know, there's a precedent for splitting up the 9.2 million or whatever it is that we have been committed to get some of these more problem areas taken care of as soon as we can. So I'm fairly optimistic that this thing will move through a lot quicker than, say, you know, financing for well 8 or something like that. Carlos?
Yeah, I think Lake of the Woods did split up the bid as far as putting up the most important stuff first, but they didn't do it till after they had the funding. So you guys are trying to do it before you get the funding or before the planning is done?
No, we would like a nod from the state that says they would fund it, fund at least some of these more high risk pipelines. If we get that nod, then the board might well want us to move ahead as quickly as we can and prepare plans and specs.
Yeah, because our issue with it is on Summit, we've already washed out a guy's hillside and retaining wall twice in the recent past. Not a day goes by that I don't expect to get a call that in the same area we have more leaks, because we've had, just on a 1 block section of Summit, we've had 5 or 6 really big leaks in the last 6 weeks, 8 weeks. So that's why we're just trying to get a commitment. And if we start to have a big failure, maybe reimbursement, if the state, you know, would reimburse us for the replacement, maybe the district could do the most critical area first of all, and then get reimbursed by the grant.
Yeah, we're definitely, this commitment letter that was sent on November 3rd, 2021, basically said, we understand the importance of these projects to the Fraser Park Public Utility District, and the division wants to ensure successful and timely completion of the projects. Therefore, if any time you encounter unexpected difficulties, please contact your assigned project manager, and that's Lawrence. And I think Lawrence is working on that now. We've been going back and forth, and Carlos, you've been part of that, and Johnny, you have too. You know, trying to figure out exactly what the timing might be for what they're calling project number 3, which is the $9 million pipeline replacement project.
Yeah, well, I fixed the paperwork error that was there, so that's one of the conditions met. So we'll see what he says. Hopefully he does agree to do that.
Yeah, that'd be great, Carlos. So we have some hope that I have higher hopes that this will come through sooner than we get the temporary easement. But anyway, just kidding. But anyhow, you know, when you go up on Summit and you look at that area and see the exposure, my goodness, you know, I'd almost recommend that the district go out and get a loan and replace the doggone pipe. It is really, the district is certainly exposed there, but of course you have insurance, but man, that's a very steep area, very narrow roads and pipelines installed in them.
Where's Summit?
It's right behind you is Pico, and then above that is
Oh.
Summit.
Okay,
And it wraps completely around the mountain, but the main issue is from quarter of a block down Summit, all the way down to where Summit goes. It would dive off the hill going to Mount Pinos and down through Pierre's yard, which we've had discussion with him in the past, because it's washed out his yard multiple times. So we've had leaks all along that section in the recent past. And historically, we've had a lot of leaks.
and that's our fault, it's not, he didn't have to have a retaining wall? Okay,
Our easement runs right through his yard, and when it leaks above it, it washes out his hillside. We've had to replace the hillside with 5-gallon buckets of dirt because we can't get equipment in there. And the same thing happened with the guy's house that we just washed out further back, but there's no way we could fill that with buckets, and I don't even know how equipment's gonna be able to get in there. And he does have a retaining wall, and he eroded all the soil behind the retaining wall. So I don't know what it's done to that, but that will be a claim. It's not yet, but it will be a claim. So that's the section that is causing me nightmares that we need to replace, because all of a sudden it's really moved up on its activity level, continual.
okay. Is that enough bad news on A? Can we move on to B?
What else is going on with pothole?
Well, like I said, we have it spelled out. We're gonna do Summit, we'll do down on Pico, and we'll go over on North End and Elm Trail. And I mean, as much as the money goes, it depends on how long it takes for each corner. We'll add things as the budget allows as we move through town through the worst areas. And basically, we're dictating the areas by our leak map that I created a year ago, 2 years ago. So wherever the most leaks are, we're gonna focus on that. But right now, we want the most exposure wherever, because some leaks just leak and it runs down into the creek or down the road. It's not as critical as running through somebody's yard. So we're focusing on the avoiding insurance claims.
Where did you pothole last week?
Oregon, North End, they set up for the west end of Oregon, because we've got a pothole on each end, and then we were gonna move to Oakmont, which is one trail up. So there's just a bunch of areas in the west part of town that we're potholing. It'll be easier to show you if you come in during the week. It'll be easier to show you on the map where it is, where I'm having them do.
Okay, can we move on to B, discussion
Yes.
vote on the project budget?
Do we have a project budget?
Yeah, we have, you mean the project?
Not
budget?
the full project, because we haven't done a pothole,
Okay, so we can move on from that, right?
right? I mean, you have the sections of budget that you're thinking about for like Summit, but you don't have a full project budget, right?
No, the budget right now is, I believe, $250,000 for potholing. And that's what we're
That's-
working on right now.
That's TA
Yeah,
funds.
the
that's
bu-
not
Yeah, the budget,
project.
the only budgets we have right now are the TA funds, and we did get our first invoice from D that I will be submitting an RFP for. And it should be approved by next week.
I have my map up. If you guys want to see where we're working, I can share my screen if you'd like. Johnny can explain to you what we're doing here.
Good.
Want me to go ahead?
Yep, please.
Okay. Okay, here we are. Sorry, I got this sign right across it, APN detail sheet B, sheet 4, detail B. but
Okay. So,
Can you see?
yep, I
Yes.
can see. So, yeah, that's good. Don't zoom in anymore. So, right here is the Oregon Trail. This is where they started. This is the real steep part of North End Trail. This is where it's as deep as 10 or 12 feet. at the high end of our pipe. This is where we started. Then they started pothole down here. Now I'm gonna have them jump up here. This is Summit. This is the way Summit runs all the way down here. This goes to Pico and Los Padres and Mount Pinos. So right in here, things in here, this is where we're washing out the hillside down to Pico. This is the terrible part. It's literally one car wide, the road. So we're washing out the hillside right here. We've also had multiple leaks here and right here. And then this steep hillside through Pierre's yard. So that's why I'm having to move to here. Then we're gonna start doing Elm Trail after that. Pothole, but what we need to do is replace the line wherever it connects here, the 4-inch all the way down, at the very least down to Pico, where it dives down the hill. Because that's where we have all the leaks and where all the damage is. Ideally, we would do all this, and then when we find out how much steel line we have on Pico, we would replace that too. After that, we would jump down to other areas as money permits.
So everything is pretty much on the other side of town versus here.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. On this side, the only side that there's, I mean, we'll get to some stuff on this side, but the majority of this side we got covered. But that side, we have a bunch.
But no problems up like by Nebraska and stuff?
Oh, no, we definitely do have problems, but you know, for the potholing, like Texas Trail will be, when we move to this side of town, Texas Trail is gonna be it. There's gonna be I forget what it is, Michigan maybe. So yeah, there are some areas on this side, but the majority of them are on that side of town. I suspect before we get to the end of what we want mapped, we'll probably run out of money. Hopefully not.
Sure.
Hopefully
I'm
not,
sure,
but.
I'm sure.
This meeting's just getting better and better.
I'm just glad that the project is kicking off. We're actually doing things now. I mean, not that we weren't, but I can see the results of what we're doing now. So we're gonna gain a lot of information from this potholing.
Okay. Moving on to C, discussion vote on the draft project plans and specifications.
We're not there.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
touched on that. He said take him 60 days once we get started.
That's just 60 days just on Summit. The other plans and specs for the
And
whole
then,
project itself would come after that.
And then D, we already talked about a little bit because we fixed, Carlos fixed the issues on the project application.
Right.
So we just think, we need to talk at the state update meeting a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we move on to 13, can we let anyone go? Did they?
Yeah, so at this point, we also should note the time, not that we were charging for it, but because we're done with
We're done with the
state-ish stuff.
state issues at 8:41.
Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Oscar.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good
Yeah.
You're
night.
welcome.
Guys,
Before I leave, I'm gonna let you guys know that I'm gonna be gone Thursday and Friday, so I will not be at the state update meeting, but I will send everything in probably Monday, Tuesday at the latest.
Okay,
okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, have a good night.
You too.
Good night, and you Lake of the Woods folks too, if you want to leave. Number 13, discussion vote update on Cal OES Community Power Resiliency Allocation to Special District Roads.
Hey,
A, discussion vote update on purchasing generators.
Tiffany, you want to take that? Or you want me to?
Well, I would have, except but Cal OES contacted us after the last report and asked for a meeting, a short conference call. That was today at 10, and Dee and Curtis were on that call, and he can update from there. So
Pretty good news, really. We spoke with,
he's not hearing about any of this stuff.
it was a
Director
very
Schoenberg, did you want
quick.
to say
It was
something?
It was a 2-day turnaround on
Okay.
that, and Cal OES gave us the time, and it was super fast.
you gave us what?
Oh, the time, the meeting times?
Oh,
Yeah, it was like a 2 day.
It was just a quick meeting.
What's the good news? I'm still waiting for the good news.
Steve,
What's the good news, Dee?
Well, the good news is that it looks like we're going to be able to get all of our generators within the time limit that we have, which is February of 2023. We have to have the funds spent. And it looks like that, sometime around the first of the year, we'll get the very last one, which is Harrison. But the good news, that's good news, and the better news even yet is that we can pay for the Harrison generator even if it is not yet delivered. And that will then expend the funds, and we'll be able to expend all the funds of the grant, even if Harrison's a little bit later than the end of February 2023. So we're in pretty good shape. I think we're going to get it before then, but if there's some delay, a week or a month, the state said, no, that's fine. You can go ahead and pay that in advance, and that will then expend the funds, the grant funds. So that's good news.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. B, discussion vote on engineering and design.
Well, we just got a few pads that we've got to design, and as soon as we get the generators and Johnny decides where he wants to set them and how he wants to set them, we'll put together some plans for each of the sites that show where the pads will be for placing the generators.
Then I will be asking Mr. Garcia to share his expertise with my crew on doing it.
Absolutely.
Do you do the wiring as well, Dee?
No, as I've said before, to save a bunch of money and to not waste money that we spent on the 2012 project, which was putting in switching and cabling in the cabinets, we're just gonna hook them up just the way we do our portables, where when we need them, we'll take the cables out. We just twist on 4 cables, twist 4 onto the generator, which also prevents people from stealing them. And then we flip a switch and then we run our generator power. That way we're not wasting it. It's something like $8,000 per cabinet that we spent on the switch that's in there now. So rather than hardwire them and spend more money, we're just gonna go the easier, simpler route.
Sounds good.
Okay. 14, discussion vote on district water tank replacement. A, discussion vote on the project estimate.
Yeah. So this right here is the estimate, Dean Cruz, Deacon had, but at first we were trying to think, how can we not replace the tank right now? And now the idea was go in and weld the plate on the worst area and prevent from replacing the tank. Dean and Curtis got together and they talked and they looked at the inspection reports and they pretty much concluded what the diver did. If you go in there and you start moving around and trying to weld stuff, you're probably going to bust a bunch of rust loose and have a bunch of leaks. So the proposal is designing the replacement tank and setting it up in such a way to where we can just have a 1-day shutdown on the existing tank while they do the piping to connect the new tank to the boosters into the system. And then we would demolish the old tank at that point. So you got anything else to add on that, Dee?
No, that's pretty much it. One thing that I would like to point out is that we do have to, because of the seismic requirements, we have to do a geotechnical soils investigation. They developed that investigation develops the parameters that we designed for the site to take care of the seismic loads on the tank. And so that's included as well. And once that work is done, then we can, design the walls and the structure of the tank.
That part of the environmental work?
Say again, please.
Is that part of the environmental work?
No,
Okay,
that isn't part of the environmental work. I think probably Tom would have to come out and issue or, give us the information so that the board can issue a mitigated negative deck probably on that. Heck, we're on a site that's, occupied by pumps and tanks and spoil piles and things like that. So I don't think there's much of an environmental issue, but we will have to probably have a mitigated negative deck or a negative deck to do that.
So we don't have an estimate yet.
For the negative deck,
For the project.
Yeah.
Well, we have an estimate on the engineering. Once that was engineered, then we get the estimates on the tank, correct, Dee?
right? And, we have, I think maybe we passed that information along to you, Johnny. We have seen tanks, anywhere from 150 to 300,000 in this size range. So, until we get some plans and specs, we won't have a solid estimate for you, but probably it's going to be around a couple 100,000, I guess.
Okay.
okay. Discussion vote on the environmental work. Do we have to do a seeker or something? Do we?
Actually, you kind of covered that,
Yeah, you already talked about,
Okay.
negative deck and all that.
Did we want to, do we need to approve this engineering proposal? It says discuss vote, or what
I
are we gonna
think-
do with that?
I think we need Director Nyman also as part of that vote if we can. I mean, I don't know how long we have to wait, that's the problem.
Only
It's
God
pretty-
knows.
Pretty bad, but
That's like with the well.
I mean, only God knows. It could last, a year. It could last, till right now, who knows? Because,
Well, let's move on then.
Yeah, this is a pretty high priority thing. Need to get on it. Everything uphill pretty well depends on the elm. And I mean, it goes to the Wolf and the McGee and, we lose the elm, we're gonna have to do some fancy footwork to try to bypass that tank and operate without any storage there. It's gonna be pretty difficult. So we need to get moving on this as soon as the board is comfortable with moving.
I have,
yeah, we figured out we have a day to possibly 2 days, depending on the time of year of elm being down to fill Wolf, because McGee fills off a Wolf and it drains, it's the smallest tank and it drains fast. So it needs constant water from Wolf. And elm, if something happens, trying to get a temporary tank set up and plumbed in and everything would take a lot more time than what we have. So, I mean, we still can wait till Brahma, obviously, but that's the importance of the thing.
What size tank is that?
I think it's 200,000.
So do you want to replace it with that
Yeah.
same size or larger?
No, I think it would be good the same. It's 210,000 gallons right now, but we have roughly 2 million gallons of storage when everything's full, so I think we're doing pretty good with storage, but we just need another tank that's not gonna be leaking so bad. Or potentially leaking.
Storage is good. We need to be able to pump that water out of the ground.
Yeah, I mean, if we go bigger, that'd be great, but some of our tanks that we actually need bigger, like McGee, for some reason, we didn't go bigger when we replaced them. Maybe Forest Service requirements or something.
I thought there was an issue with the environmental of going big, I thought there was, yeah.
I don't know.
Is there an issue on elm of going bigger, Dee?
There's no environmental issue. Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
There's no environmental issue with elm. We would just, Tom would have to look at it and we'd have to issue a negative.
And not an issue of it being closer to homes or anything like that?
No, that's a high risk thing, but no.
Or to the ravine.
Yeah, luckily it's to the ravine as well, but it would depend on what side the tank failed on, and if we put in something that would divert water if it was leaking to take it down to the ravine. But with the new tanks with seismic stuff, because right now that tank, so you know, some of our tanks are set right on a bed of gravel. Our new tanks that we put in 2012, they got a foundation, they got
Ring
poles all the
foundation.
way around it. These old tanks have none of that. So a big earthquake is just gonna buckle and just slide and do whatever it wants to do in an earthquake.
Dee, because you've designed some tanks here already and have some ideas about it, is there a way to just give a very minimal proposal? Obviously, you know, you need to do some engineering on it, but is there something besides just the engineering, you know, not a full proposal, a draft proposal of what it might, of everything else that might be entailed on that project, so that when we vote to move forward with having to engineer it, we have at least a little bit of something else?
Well, I've tried to look at what Curtis sent.
Yeah, we can develop a, you know, there will be some earthwork required because we got to put the tank someplace else than where the tank is right now. And so,
Correct.
you know, there's going to be some soils exploration and a soils report on that, you know, to really to start things out. But we could give you a rough idea of what the whole construction project will look like.
Yeah, I think that would be really helpful for the board, besides just your engineering proposal, because we didn't see what Curtis sent to Johnny.
I'd like to read to you just real quick, just get a rough idea, even though you'll put that together. It says we got a bid on a 38-foot diameter by 24-foot tall, 205,000-gallon tank, bolted steel, with a gravel ring foundation. The tank cost ranged from 230,000 to 335,000. The gravel ring foundation ranged from 15,000 to 35,000. That does not include costs for reconnecting piping and electrical, et cetera. So that's what he's getting now, but apparently things are changing so rapidly that it could be anywhere in that range. And so I'm guessing $500,000 the way it's going, or at least $407,000 when you deep with all the piping and all the rest of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so, Johnny. 300 at least, and you know, thinking about that and with that information in mind, you know, the sites, unfortunately, in Fraser Park, they're not that accessible. They're not easy to get to and build on. So, you know, that adds to the complication of, you know, it adds to the cost. And so, yeah, it'll be 300.
Director Schoenberg?
And then I have a question too, Dee, because originally when we had looked at the sort of what you were thinking about for the consolidation, Elm was a part of it. Like, we were thinking originally of a second tank, or we were thinking originally of some other items potentially being on that site. Is that, you know, get a bigger tank, or, you know, I just want to think about how that might change some of the original thoughts that you had consolidation wise, because way back when we, and I don't even know, I'd love to look at that again because it's been so long, but you had like a kind of mapped out what you thought might be, you know, what you thought the consolidation might entail.
The idea was going to be another booster tank or another tank and an upgraded booster site.
Right.
Site, but if we can't wait on Elm until the construction.
No,
phase.
I know we can't wait.
But so if we build a new tank on our dime, then there's going to be the demolished area on where the existing tank is, where any Lake of the Woods project could still go in. There's plenty enough room right there to do what we need to do in the two phases.
You know, one of the things, and maybe we can talk to Lawrence about that at the state meeting, maybe, you know, we can get reimbursed for that tank and the improvements there with the regional project funding when we finally get it. And, you know, that's something to talk to him about. Maybe there is some funding in, you know, in retrospect, you know, if we if we talk to them about it now, maybe there's some possibility there.
Right, or how that might affect Director Garcia's
Director
question.
Garcia?
I move we extend the limits of the meeting to finish business.
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion has been made by Director Garcia and seconded by Director Schoenberg. Roll call of directors, Director Garcia,
Aye.
Director Nyman is absent, Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
Director Kelling,
Aye.
Gibson, aye, so 4-0-1 absent. And do I need to put the time? At 8:50.
Okay.
So, yeah, I just want to like think about, I would just want to think about that a little in terms of if we go larger or how that might affect things or, because I know originally, so maybe that's something, do you have that, second copy of that original? I don't even know, it's been a really long time since we looked at it. That was
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah, we do. And that's actually what I'm going to use to update costs. But yeah, I do. And I can send that out again, make a map actually. That can be-
Yeah, it'd kind of be great to just have a map here that we
Yep.
could look at also. And I mean, I know that there's gonna be changes, but just to kind of, not all the directors were even here when we originally started talking about that.
Mhm. And, just FYI, usually adding height to a tank is not that much more expensive. What is expensive is when you make it a bigger diameter. Adding another course of, side shell, it affects the seismic and it makes the sidewalls thicker. But, you've got a roof and you've got a floor and that doesn't change, because you're building up. And so, it never hurts to have a little bit more storage than what you initially think. And I think we might be able to build that storage into the tank for the regional project and maybe get some funding for it.
That sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, number 15, discussion vote update on the nitrate analyzer.
All right, so on the nitrate analyzer, we've been doing the weekly sampling. We've got 2 of the samples back. It matches the lab results to within the parameters of what they say. There could be a difference of up to 5% according to Hawk. On one of them, we're 0.4. The lab came in 0.4 lower than what their analyzer showed. On the other one, I believe it was 0.2 lower. So in essence, it gives a buffer zone because it's not going higher. I mean, the lab results aren't higher.
Better, yeah.
We also turned one in Monday that I should be getting the results. By this coming Monday, we'll probably get the results on that. But the first 2 and the manuals I took down to D because Jesse wants D to write the SOP, the operating manual, and incorporate some stuff. I've also been working on getting the service contract solidified. I've been bouncing back with that with Hawk, so they do all the servicing on it to make sure that it's working the way it's supposed to work. So everything's moving along, but it's still going to be 2 or 3, maybe 4 weeks before we get the SOP and get Jesse to maybe sign off on this. So
you think another 2 months?
no, I wouldn't think a month. I mean, I wouldn't think 2 months. I would think, I mean, in reality, we could potentially get off the violation order in a month, depending on how quickly the lab gets the results and Dee's able to write that manual. What we determined in the past, being Dee and Jesse from the state, is Jesse kind of undershoots what he expects initially, and then he requests a bunch of revisions and it becomes a bigger deal. So all we can do is what Jesse wants right now, and then it depends on how many times Jesse bounces it back for more information. But hopefully in a month, we will get released from the nitrate violation.
We'll have to at least send out September letter.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we always have to send the letter by the end of the month when we sample. So-
Right.
So August, we're gonna send it for sure. Yeah,
September.
probably in September, yeah. And then I would imagine we're gonna have to send one that rescinds the violation order as well, so.
3 more million.
Okay,
Few more $1,000, no big deal, right?
Not according to the state.
Yeah, okay.
okay, moving on to number 17, and I'm gonna suggest that we carry it over because I don't even think we have a quorum on one of these meetings for voting.
And we can probably let Dee go too.
Yes.
Thank you
Oh,
very
yeah,
much.
sorry,
Dee.
Dee.
Thank you.
Take the rest of the day off, Dee.
My girls are, I think they probably just finished singing at the Crystal Palace tonight
Oh, again.
for another, but I'll
Is she a
catch them.
regular every Thursday?
Pardon?
Is she a regular there?
Well, she, once a month or twice, you know, sometimes they call her to fill in when somebody cancels. Both of our daughters sing, when they sing at when our younger daughter has the band and she does a lot of, you know, singing all over the place with her band. But when they sing at the Crystal Palace, both daughters sing, they really blend their voices very, very well. And so both sing and they have usually an extra guitarist or somebody. So it's a lot of fun to, and I catch them occasionally. So tonight,
Then
not
let us
so.
know when they're gonna do it, so my husband and I can go out and have dinner.
Not once a month.
Party down.
Yeah, hey, it'll give me a good excuse to go.
Yeah, great food.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
Well,
Okay,
have a
thank
good
Thank
night.
you.
Hey, good night.
Good night, Dee.
Okay.
I'm gonna say goodnight to you guys.
Good
Night,
night.
Pam.
Good night. So what do you want to do about reviewing these minutes? Can we carry it over? Can we table it till our next meeting so that everybody has a chance to go over them? And we have a quorum here to vote on. One
Okay.
meeting. It was just-
If Tiffany's okay with that, I'm gonna move that we table the minutes for 7/7/2022, 7/14/2022, and 7/28/2022 until our next meeting.
Very good.
I'll second that.
Okay. Director Schoenberg has made a motion. Director Garcia has seconded it. Roll call of directors. Director Garcia.
Aye.
Director Nyman is absent. Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Kelling.
Aye.
Director Gibson, aye, 4-0, 1 absent. Discussion, vote on future agenda items.
We got 'em all.
We caught him as we went, huh?
I will move that we adjourn.
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion has been made by Director Kelling and seconded by Director Garcia. Roll call of directors. Director Garcia.
Aye.
Director Nyman is absent. Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Kelling.
Aye.
Gibson, aye, 4-0, 1 absent. Thank you very much. We are ending our meeting at 9:06.
Thank you very much. Good night, everyone.
Okay, I'm gonna leave this on the desk here. I will come in, I guess, to try to review it because in case